Hello you lovely lot, happy Friday. Tim Wilde's Ascension update from the woods. Me and my dragon today, we've been clearing some energy, just calming things down, sitting in alignment, listening to the increasing bird song, because it does feel a little bit like spring in the UK, which is nice. Need a bit of spring. And I hope you've had a good week wherever you are in the world. Let's just take a few moments to step into the heart. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Listen to some English birdie tweeting, because I've been very vocal this morning. And just relax. Come back to centre. We're seeing so much going on in the field at the moment. And I kind of want to look at a subject which can either be handled straight up, or it can be handled as a hot potato, balancing it around, juggling it, hopping it from one hand to the other because you don't want to hold it for too long. We've been living in a very, very a fast-moving, fast-paced, changing energetic platform now for 4 years. I mean, it began changing on the cosmic moment, the 21st of December 2012, the end of the Atlantean experiment, the beginning of the march to the golden era. And for the first 10 years we were all kind of absorbing the energies, finding out who we truly are, even just stepping onto the pathway of recollection. But things are very different now, and they've begun to change, as you may have noticed, significantly in 2020, and are more so now than ever. The outside world collectively is a reflection of what is going on internally collectively. So we're seeing the rise of the shadows. We're seeing all of the shadows coming up, all of the stuff that was buried previously. And this goes all the way through, right, not just down to our own personalities, but to the way that the systems around us were actually run, the systems of social control. And that includes kind of schooling, that includes politics, medicine, all of the other things that you've heard me kind of talking about previously, beating the drum about I do wince a little bit when I say it now, the third dimensional matrix, because it's a term that's been grabbed and it's been used by people that have kind of made themselves, I suppose, quite unpopular online. But it's a good term to describe where we came from and the energy with which that was contained within it. So all of us at this moment in time are witnessing the rise of the shadows. The shadows have come. They've been kicked out of the astral. A lot of this stuff has been booted out of the astral because the astral is being de-layered. It's being decommissioned bit by bit. There's a lot of homeless spirits. There's a lot of homeless energies. There's also a lot of homeless emotions, because when something occurs, when it's felt individually or collectively, when a happening of significance occurs and everything is experienced, that's recorded. Okay, it doesn't just go away. It's recorded first of all in the Akash. The Akash has recorded everything that occurred in the third dimension, both low frequency and high frequency. So it's almost as if the bucket has been kicked over now. The rock has been dropped into the pond, and all of the silt has come to the surface. How are we dealing with this? Okay, I'm talking today about truth and accountability. We are, as Lightworkers, commanding accountability, not just for our own actions, but for the actions of those around us. So by accountability, I mean taking responsibility for things that are done, that are said, that occur. Not maybe for happenings that occurred 200 years ago. At the end of the day, we're not rewriting history. We're accepting it, we're alchemizing it, we're forgiving, we're releasing, we're moving on. But there's a lot of things that are going on in our peripheral and our direct line of sight that we're saying there doesn't seem to be any accountability for this. And this is almost, the finger of this is being pointed mostly at the manic behaviour that we're seeing arising from the systems that are in place. The systems that are under a huge amount of pressure to reform at a higher frequency. Before these systems change, before the world breezes into the fifth dimension, we need to be fully accountable for ourselves, as within, so without. Okay, the truth, the integrity, the love, the accountability, the responsibility that we all hold is reflected into the outside world. Only through our actions, the example that we set, the way that we live our lives, the way that we speak to others, the way that we embrace either the good times or the challenges, only via this do we change the world. Because the outside world isn't going to conform to a distorted print that we have within ourselves. There is, and this is where things become a little bit hot potatoey. There's a shadow running through the light community. Okay, and we all have the shadow. I've got it, you've got it, we've all got it. We've all got our shadow work to do. There's not a single person on this planet that can go, yay, I've done all my shadow work, I'm shadow free. Because that's not the way things are, that's not how things are wired at the moment. The more you dig, the more you find, the more light that comes in, the more that comes up. It's how we deal with that. It's how we deal with those circumstances when they are presented and when they occur that define truth, love, integrity. I'm going to use a little example because this has been brought to my attention this week. I did a wonderful event on Tuesday night with Lavisa Alftorn and Anna Indra Larsen. It was Anna's event, and it was a continuation of the work that we did in the Muskatalo in Helsinki in Finland that was organised by Jenny Rantakahila, which was such a beautiful weekend, it really was. And we activated the Great Crystal of Atlantis on the Sunday, the day that Pluto moved into Aquarius. But in order to get this field extended out, we chose to run a Zoom together using the foundation of meditation that we did on the Sunday. And it was incredibly powerful. It was such a beautiful event. But we noticed, not just before Finland, but before running up to this particular event, that there was resistance coming in. It's almost as if the outside or the powers that were rattled by this. And lots of technical hitches occurred. Lack of communication, things going wrong online. And the thing that occurred on the Tuesday night was that Anna booked a Zoom for 500 people. She did this, it was discussed, she did it because obviously there were more than 100 people signed up. So automatically this was done so that we could accommodate all of the beautiful souls that were joining us on the Tuesday. 10 minutes into the event, the three of us realised with this gives you a strike to the solar plexus, believe me, because if any of you have ever used Zoom or presented on Zoom, you'll realise that when you go live, when everyone's tuned in, you are in the hands of the Zoom gods. So at this particular time, we realised together that only 100 people had been allowed into the event. And of course, there were naturally a lot of very disappointed people who then got in contact with Anna. Some of these were accepting and some of them were downright unpleasant. And I'm going to speak about this because it's a shadow that I see running collectively amongst Lightworkers. And this isn't an accusation, this isn't some kind of rollicking, it's just something that we need to be aware of, I believe, when we are promoting ourselves as beings of love and light, when we are embracing this greater field. That's 24/7. That's not until we get rattled. It's not until something shakes our cage or our rising signs in the wrong position or we're receiving a download. It is our responsibility to be in that state of heart-centeredness even when triggered. Okay, this is the trick. This is where things start to get technical. This is when we've got to be really self-aware, not just of what's going on in the outside world. Doesn't mean that you've got to accept what is wrong out there. Always speak your truth, but speak it from the heart. Because once that message has left port, once you've either spoken the angry words or you've emailed the angry message, that message then has an energetical impact and it delivers. Okay, so we are then accountable for the end result. So when we are now speaking with people, when we are communicating with others, even with others that we consider may have wronged us or have done wrong or are doing the wrong thing, you know, there's plenty of that on social media. You'll see pages if you ever kind of scroll through an argument on Facebook. We all do it, don't we? Sometimes it becomes a little bit addictive. You like get the popcorn out, you know, where's this one going? And you'll see wording and sentences and kind of almost like, you know, like resorting to like the old school name calling that occurs that would never normally occur in real life between two people. If you have a conversation between two people, if you're looking at someone eye to eye, from heart to heart, would you still speak those same words? And if you did, you can then see the impact of the delivery. And you would also be responsible for what you receive back. It's an instantaneous level of communication, but things have got very blurred online. Things have got very keyboardy. So this is something that I believe that we all together as the light community need to be aware of. The event that occurred and the happenings around it, of course, everybody who couldn't join was naturally very disappointed, and we apologise profusely. It was again in the hands of the Zoom gods. Anna, Lavisa and I were very sorry that happened. It's happened to me once before, back in the early days of Zoom, and it's not fun because, like you say, once you go live, after all of that preparation, all of the meetings, all of the gathering of the energies together, the focus, once you've hit that button, there's nothing you can do about it. So for those of you that might be kind of heading out into the online events, or you've done it before, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this is what we're seeing, not just on a kind of like a close quarters or an individual level. This is happening in the outside world around us. We are seeing very clearly now the wrongdoings of the people who have held thrall in this world, the people that are pulling the puppet strings. And we are triggered in a lot of cases. The survival buttons are pressed. We are angry. It's called righteous anger. But how much righteous anger do we have? Is it correct to speak? Is it correct, or is it heart-centered to deliver these words still if they haven't gone through the chamber of the heart. Naturally, human beings are privy to their emotions. We all have an emotional state, but it's whether that emotional state is honoured or whether it is running around like a child throwing toys. And that's very much 2024 is going to see a huge theme of responsibility, of accountability for everybody on this planet. If you think there's people out there doing whatever they want, getting away with it, creating harm, making the world kind of like, an insufferable place to be, there is always accountability. Always. What goes around comes around. It's the universal law of cause and effect. So this is very much in play at the moment. What we're seeing in the outside world is the panic-stricken activities of the 3D matrix to regain control. All hands on deck. You've heard me speak about this before. So all of that effort going in to keeping people limited, keeping them scared, keeping their vibrations low because they're thinking about conflict, they're thinking about poverty, they're thinking about the fact that their neighbour's got a different religion, they might be the enemy, or all of these different things. What's going on in the schools, what's going on in the medical system, all of it is being revealed. Everything, every tiny little bit that we couldn't see previously is now, it's right here. So you wanted that third eye, you wanted the veils of amnesia dissolved. We all did. We ordered that. We said we want to see with the eyes of the universe, everything. But that just doesn't mean just seeing the angels, doesn't just mean seeing the dragons and the unicorns or becoming more psychically aware of them. It means you're going to see all the other stuff as well. And this is where we need to, I believe, become strengthened in our resolve to be heart-centered at all times. Because it doesn't matter if it's an individual that has become like a figure of world domination. We send them love. That's our job. We're not going to tolerate what's going on, and we're going to change it through the resistance that we have. And maybe resistance is the wrong word, because as we're all unifying together in this heart-centeredness, we naturally become resistant to the world that existed previously. The world of imbalances, the world of polarity, the worlds of haves and have-nots. And we're moving into unity. But that unity means that we are, by the guidance of our heart, loving one another at all times. Okay? Even the people out there that are doing all the baddie stuff, we've got to love them too. That's the difficult part, isn't it? We have to embrace wholeheartedly every single one of our brothers and sisters on this planet. But again, I say with my feet on the ground, fully grounded, fully rooted, that doesn't mean we're going to tolerate what is occurring. Okay, quite the opposite. By becoming grounded, becoming sovereign, becoming heart-centered, becoming loving and kind and resolved and resolute in everything that we do, that changes the boundaries of the game altogether. Loving, peaceful resistance, unless of course you're a French farmer. So I just got to pick my hat up off the floor. So that is what I wanted to talk about, because it's on my radar, and it also ties in very much with the 44 codes of wisdom that came through via the Sphinx to Paul de Brie Carey, because so much of those 44 kind of nuggets of Sphinxy wisdom were all pointing towards how we treat one another, how we speak. Just because we've spent a lifetime, or maybe multiple lifetimes, in subjugation, not being able to use our throats, doesn't mean that now that we can, that we speak everything that comes into our minds or our mouths at the time. Bring it through the chamber of the heart first. Check that it's heart-centered. Check that it's loving. check that it's necessary, and then deliver your message, because that has the impact for change. It does not receive resistance, it causes or creates alchemy on the other end of it. So, it's just starting to drizzle a little bit. I am now going to go and get myself ready to go to Lymington, because I've got the Lightworkers Empowerment Weekend. If you haven't heard about it and you're in the UK and you fancy coming, begins at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in Lymington at the McDonald's Elmer's Court. Beautiful venue. Thank you, Jackie White, again for getting such a wonderful space. Tomorrow all day is me presenting. I'm going to be looking very much at the nuts and bolts of the Ascension process, like I normally do, but from the new, shiny 2024 responsible master perspective. And on Sunday, I'm joined by the wonderful Alice Heath, who is going to be bringing through her cosmic hot seat. So this is going to be very interesting. Alice has got a beautiful connection to the higher realms, to the people or the beings of light who operate from places like Arcturus, from Sirius, from Andromeda, and they will be stepping in through her to answer questions on the Sunday. It's going to be good. So sending you all so much love, and from my heart to yours, and I will see you on Monday for Meditation Monday. Bye for now.